When you think about it, there's an infinite number of things that we do not know. What I mean by that is things that we haven't even asked questions about. So things that we don't even know, right? So, complete darkness out there. And I'm going to call this area ignorance, and I don't mean this in a negative way. But when we're ignorant of something, it makes us unconsciously incompetent at something. So let me see if there's a golfer in the audience, or I'm sure everybody understands the game of golf. We're swinging a club, hitting a ball, or you could pick any sport of similar characteristics that require, you know, precision, speed, accuracy, timing, form. To be able to explain to somebody how to do that properly, you have to have a very high level of expertise. You have to be consciously, very consciously competent of what the mechanics involved in swinging that club are, right? So as a novice golfer, as I go through this experience, I swing a club, and if I have a coach working with me, that coach is going to pick up on a couple of things very quickly. So the first one, let's say there's some problems with my swing or my delivery, or if this was a sales environment, it could be a sales manager to a sales consultant, giving some coaching. And so the next step is when we receive a state that's called conscious incompetence. So that is when we become aware of the area that we want to work on, right? So, let's say we'll go back to the golf analogy again, and I want to become a better golfer and work on my swing. I swing the club a couple times for a coach. The coach looks at me and decides, yeah, never quit your day job. That's probably the truth, right? So, but I do want to improve. I want to get a little bit better. So the coach then has to pick on, some very specific kind of, let's say, some big hitters, some big areas that will benefit me the most. And so I'm consciously incompetent through that conversation with a coach of those areas. And my goal, as far as training and development and working with somebody, is to become consciously competent at what I'm doing so that I'm in such a state that I can do the task, I can perform the behavior, whatever the situation requires, I can do it to a standard because I know the standard and I performed it at the standard. And so when I think about it, when I'm focused, I can do it well, right? So we want to take somebody from, often terms when we think about new employees, we're trying to move somebody a great distance when it comes to becoming competent, especially if we start out at the bottom here where we're dealing with completely new knowledge, complete new skills, new concepts. So we have to move from the state of ignorance into such a way that the revelation of our incompetence doesn't kill our motivation to pursue becoming consciously competent at it. And so part of this, our role in a leader is to be cognizant of this when we're working with folks. And then ultimately, we're looking for a level of performance that tops out here. When you achieve the level of unconscious competence, that's that moment of the perfect swing, the perfect delivery, the perfect pitch, where you've reached the state of, you may have heard this before, but it's called flow. Flow is super powerful. It's a state where you almost achieve effortless perfection. It's like the zenith of a flight where all of a sudden, you're weightless, right? And I'm going to extremes, but there becomes obviously, and you've all felt this when you're doing something at a level, whether it's playing an instrument, whether it's working a keyboard and writing code, whether it's delivering words or speeches, you reach this zone where you no longer are thinking consciously about what you're doing. It's just flowing out of you. So one of the main responsibilities of a leader is to help your people grow, help them grow, in their role, help them grow as leaders, the whole shebang, it's all under there. And so being aware of where our people are at on this continuum is super important in terms of how we interact, how we coach, how we train. Somebody up here who's consciously competent, they know what they need to do, they're focused on it, they're deliberately working through the proper behaviors and skill sets to get it done. needs, encouragement, hey, keep it going, great job, fantastic, you're on it, kind of a repetition to where things become reflex at this level. That's what we're looking for.